Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Restoning, the series where I take you through redstone and relate it back to engineering. You can say it's a lovely day in Minecraft, and we'll get started right now. So this is a clock, and it pulses through every tick every time it goes for a set amount of time. This is a 4 ticks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will return back to here. So in order to start this one, you have to place this and then destroy it really quickly. Say, why do you have to do that? I mean, couldn't you just press this button you have right here? Well, you would be wrong, but it's good because you don't really know how clocks work. So you press this button. Didn't really work. Why is that? Because the button has a longer tick than the clock itself. Any input that the clock may have to start it must be shorter than the clock itself. So to alleviate this problem, we put in a pulse limiter for this button. Now this pulse limiter isn't really a clock, but it aids in making the clock, which is why I put it here. So what happens is this is inverted when it's before it gets powered, and then once it gets powered, it lets a pulse go that's 2 ticks, which is this, and it can be any length really under this. So it can limit it. It can barely limit it, or like here, it can severely limit it. So I can start this clock. But if I wanted this button to start it, I could extend the time that this clock goes and press the button, and voila, this clock goes. But obviously it's very slow, not very snappy. But if I use this pulse limiter, even on this long clock, it's a nice little snap through this nice little click. So that's the fun thing. As you can see, I am experiencing some lag. Okay, back to normal. So that continues to go. Now the problem with clocks like that is that when you log off, it stops because it only saves the redstone. It doesn't save that it's ticking, so it just fills this entire thing. So you can alleviate that problem by building a piston clock. Piston clock cycles through very quickly. You can obviously extend this or stop it. So again, every 4 ticks, nice little pulse. So the only problem is that once you start, it's really hard to stop. So in order to alleviate that problem, we put in a manual stop. So why is this stopped right now? Well, that's because this, let's get up, it's being stopped by the piston. So in order to alleviate this problem, we turn it on by flipping this piston up, and the clock turns on. It's a lovely little thing. Yes, it is. So this contraption is I want to turn this off, it makes a whole lot of noise. So this is an analog tape, basically. It goes through and cycles through. Memory can be stored on this, but for now we won't really show the memory being stored. That's for something later. So right there, and it cycles through every 4 ticks. So we need an 8-tick one. So you press this button to start it. There's limited pulse, and it just cycles through this tape. Pretty neato, isn't it? So, little lighting glitches because this is barely working. It's barely, right when this thing pops up, it slides that wool block underneath. So, you can store memory and you can run through it just like a RAM and a clock. So, here we are. This is all these clocks. A lot of things pulse. I'll turn this one on just for the heck of it. Let me start this one again, just for the heck of it. A whole lot of clocks. So next week we will be looking at pistons more in depth. I know we used pistons a few times for T-flip-flops and other things, but we'll see what they can do and, really other things you can do with them. So for next week, see you later.